There was a room inside many medieval castles that no servant, no guard, and no visitor was ever allowed to enter. Not because it was empty, but because what happened inside was never meant to be seen. This room had no windows, no decorations, and no name written in any record. Yet everyone inside the castle knew it existed. They feared it. When we think of medieval castles today, we imagine tall towers, royal halls, armored knights, and beautiful stone walls standing proudly against the sky. Tourists walk through these castles taking photos, admiring the architecture and imagining the lives of kings and queens. But behind those grand halls and decorated chambers, there were narrow stone corridors lit only by torches. Corridors that led to places history books rarely describe, because medieval castles were not only homes for royalty, they were also tools of control. And fear was the most powerful weapon inside them. Originally, castles were built to protect people from enemies outside the walls. But over time, they became places used to control enemies inside the walls. Rebellious soldiers, political rivals, servants who overheard secrets, citizens accused of treason. These people were not always executed in public. Sometimes they simply disappeared through a heavy wooden door reinforced with iron, a door that led to the Forbidden Room. This room was usually located deep inside the castle, often underground, hidden behind storage rooms, kitchens, or narrow staircases that most people never used. The walls were thick stone, designed so that no sound could escape, no screams, no cries for help. Inside, there were iron rings fixed into the walls, wooden tables with leather straps, chains hanging from the ceiling, buckets of water, and tools designed not to kill, but to force confessions. Because in medieval law, a confession was considered the strongest proof of guilt, stronger than evidence, stronger than witnesses. If a person confessed, the case was closed. And so the purpose of this room was simple: break the mind before the body breaks. Because under enough pain, anyone will confess to anything, even the crimes they never committed. Imagine being a guard ordered to escort a prisoner at night. The castle is silent. Most people are asleep. You can hear only the sound of your boots and the prisoner's chains scraping across the stone floor. You reach the door, you unlock it, and you try not to look inside for too long. Because you know that one day, if you anger the wrong person, it could be you walking through that same door. Not everyone taken into this room was a criminal. Some were political enemies of the king. Some were framed by jealous nobles. Some were servants who accidentally heard conversations they were never meant to hear. Some were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. The room did not judge. It only followed orders. Victims were tied to wooden frames and stretched until their joints screamed in pain. Some were suspended by their wrists for hours. Some were kept in total darkness for days without food or water. Some were forced to listen to the screams of others before their own turn came. Because fear was part of the process. The goal was not punishment. The goal was confession. Public executions often created anger among the people. They created martyrs. They created stories that spread through towns and villages. But secret suffering created silence. People obeyed the king not because they respected him, but because they feared disappearing without explanation. This room allowed rulers to maintain control without public violence. Fear spread quietly through whispers in the castle halls. Servants talked about it in low voices when no one else was around. Guards avoided standing near its door for too long. No one said its name loudly, but everyone knew it existed. And everyone prayed they would never be taken there. Centuries later, when many castles were abandoned and rediscovered, explorers found strange underground rooms that did not look like living quarters or storage spaces. They found iron rings still attached to walls, scratch marks on stone, old wooden tables with restraints. No decorations, no windows. No clear explanation for visitors, but historians knew. These were interrogation chambers, the forbidden rooms inside medieval castles. History books often focus on kings, wars, and architecture. They tell stories of bravery, honor, and royal life, but they rarely describe the silent suffering that happened in hidden rooms like this. Because these rooms were never meant to be recorded. They were meant to be forgotten. And in many cases they were. Today, when we walk through castles, we admire their beauty. We imagine royal feasts, shining armor, and noble knights protecting their lands. But behind those same walls, people begged for mercy. People confessed to crimes they never committed. People disappeared without leaving a name in history. Medieval castles were symbols of power, but they were also symbols of fear. And hidden deep inside many of them was a room no one was allowed to enter. A room built not for living, but for breaking people. A room that history tried to forget. And the next time you see a medieval castle standing tall against the sky, remember, some doors were never meant to be opened,